Um, Hello. Hello everyone, and welcome to this webinar on health and fitness during COVID times. So, what I did was I thought the best place for me to talk would be from my personal gym, and I'm actually doing my gym now, and it's my personal gym, and you can see that I'm right inside my gym working out. So, well, many people talk about various topics, and I'm sure that you would have learned a lot of ENT during this period of COVID. There are so many teachers actually teaching you on various topics in ENT. But I thought let us talk something different because we need different things, and that always gives us pleasure to listen to different topics, and that is actually a pleasure. So I selected this topic called health and fitness during the COVID period because I have seen on the newspaper that several doctors are dying of heart attack. They don't take care of their body, no exercise, sedentary life, and actually the best way for me to spend my time would be in the gym. So in fact, many people message me and ask me, see, there's no big deal in a 30-year-old presenting, on fitness. Why don't you tell about your secret on fitness? Let me tell you something about myself before I hand over the mic to the speaker, and I will introduce him very shortly. So I have been a fitness freak right from my college days. That is from my BLO. I started my gymming at the age of around 20 years. So that was the time I started doing my gym. And then from then on, I do not even remember a single day I have not done something for my body. That's could be cardio like badminton or running or doing scuba or gymming. I'm very passionate about my fitness, and that's the reason why at this age of nearing 50 that I don't have even diabetes or
Hey, 52 da.
Yes, I don't have diabetes or hypertension. So the reason is actually you have to gym, you have to keep yourself fit. So that's the idea. So well, without much ado, I want to introduce the speaker. This great guy is actually my student, who's none other than Dr. Kumar Gaurav. Actually, to tell something about him, he is a great ENT surgeon. Of course, he's young. He has to get experience in his field. So, but one field he is definitely very good about, I'm very sure about, is that he is a professional, gymmer and bodybuilder as well as a fitness freak. So, actually, I thought instead of me talking about fitness, calorie intake, and I have also gone through a lot of strenuous programs. I went to Texas school and I learned a lot of gymming. I'm a little freaky guy. I went to Lee Chong Wei, who is the badminton expert, and I went to him to learn badminton. Who is the best? I just go there to learn from them. This is my attitude. That's basically my attitude. And actually, now I'm going to ask Dr. Kumar Gaurav, who is a fantastic fitness freak, to talk about what is the prerequisite and also what are the protocols you have to follow on fitness, and what are various kinds of fitness exercises you can do at home during COVID period, as well as if you have your own home gym, like what I do. I have a personal gym, very nice gym. Of course, I have a swimming pool. I have my own billiards a room in my house, and that's the way I live. And that's what I really enjoy. I should enjoy life and also ENT. So over to Dr. Kumar, and I'm sure that he's going to entertain all of you and give you a lot of tips about how to go about maintaining your body in a perfectly fit way. And I always say being fit is equal to healthy life is equal to being a good surgeon. So it also relates to good surgery because you have a good mind. So a healthy body, a healthy mind, as well as being a good surgeon are very important three aspects aspects of life as such. If you take big personalities, I've seen Professor Mario Sana, Professor Primadello, Professor Amin Kassam, everybody actually does a lot of, Professor Sethi, he does a lot of workouts. So you see all the top guys always do a lot of fitness, which directly relates to good health, which directly relates to good surgery. So over to Dr. Kumar, and I'm sure that he's going to be a very great entertainer and also a good teacher. And I'm sure that you guys are going to enjoy this 1 hour with him. And then we'll take a lot of questions and let's see. Over to him. Over to you, Kumar.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir, for the wonderful introduction. And now we are going to start a topic, the fitness and health. So before starting the topic, I would like to tell something about my teacher, my mentor, my guru, Narayan Jankiram sir, who inspired every ENT surgeon, consultants to big guys because of his aura, because of his personality. He's good in everything. You just name the thing and he's best. And we admire him a lot. In fact, the whole world admire him. And let me tell me about myself. I'm also a fitness freak. You can see my pics, and for me also there has been no day off for workout. I have been doing since like 10 years. These are my surgery pics. I have won a fashion show and did some modeling also. This is my YouTube channel, Surgeon Fitness Fanatic. I post
your presentation. Share your presentation.
You can't see it?
Yes.
You can't see the presentation?
Yes, yes.
Harsha, can you see the presentation?
No, you have to share your screen.
Okay.
Share your screen. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, before starting, a little bit introduction about my teacher, Narayan Jankiram sir, who has inspired me and the doctors all around the world. So this is my pick first when I met Dr. Jankiram sir. It was on 2nd April in Jabalpur, and that when I was so much inspired by him and I started following him. This is the pic of Royal Pearl Hospital while leaving after completing my fellowship. And before coming to Royal Pearl Hospital, these are my pics. When I was in Lucknow, I did a bit of modeling. I won a fashion show. This is my YouTube channel in the name of the Surgeon and the Fitness Fanatic. Here I post the ENT related videos and my fitness videos. So you guys can go and join. So what I'm going to talk about in this lecture is about change your life. Why change your life? Because everything has changed because of this corona pandemic. So what are the contents that I will be covering are like the lockdown, COVID pandemic, the sedentary lifestyle. Because we all are lying at our home. There's no gyms. Gyms are closed. We can't go anywhere. We have to maintain social distancing. And we have to take care of ourselves, wash our hands. We have to maintain a 1 meter distance. So next I will talk about the stay fit, corona will not hit. So what are the tips? What we can do on our level to make sure that we don't get contaminated, or how we build our immunity to fight this virus? Because you know that older people are getting more infected because of the low immunity, or the people who are immunocompromised. They are getting more infected and more chances of getting infected. And the next point I will share about how to stay fit, the exercises, the nutrition, and the motivation. So we all know about this virus enough, and we have seen a lot of webinars about this. So nothing to say much about it. We all know the symptoms: the cough, the fever, the dyspnea, the pressure in the chest, the bluish lips. So you already know much about it. We have been listening about it since 2 months. So first I will start with the sedentary lifestyle. What is sedentary lifestyle? It is the inactive life, because we all are at our homes watching the webinar, sitting on a chair and just eating and doing nothing, inactive. And sincerely, it takes a lot of motivation to wake up and do workout, because it is pain. It is not easy, and not everybody gets easily motivated to get your workout done or do a bit of workout. So I will like to give you some stats that almost 3 out of 4 Indians are overweight, and 73% of the urban Indians are overweight. So the maximum risk age is 28 to 38 years, and highest risk of weight gain for men and women. You must understand that the average person goes from healthy at 26 to obese at 38. So, and what are the related diseases? You can see, first of all, you need to understand what is the body mass index. Basically, what is body mass index? You can yourself take it out right now. Take a pen and paper, write your weight in kilograms, your height in a meter square, and you will get your BMI. So 18.5 is underweight. 18.5 to 24.9 is normal weight. Overweight is 25 to 29.9, and obesity is 30. So you can see the obesity, what it leads to. It leads to diabetes because of your insulin intolerance, the metabolic syndrome, the hypertension, arthritis, cholecystitis, gallstone, erectile dysfunction, heart disease, fatty liver, pancreatitis, stroke, and gastric reflux disease. Even sleep apnea, obstructive sleep apnea, which is related to ENT. Here you can see about the obesity. This is enough of a motivation to start your workout today, because you can see more than 2 billion of people are affected globally, and 4 million deaths globally every year occurs because of this obesity. Out of the 7.5 billion global population, 2 billion are affected. It's a very big number, and we think it's a very small thing. And there's a 3 times increase in the prevalence since 1975. Now here we can see the surprising facts about obesity. You know that it increases the obesity increases the risk of the common chronic illness such as diabetes and heart disease. You must have seen the physicians advising you, please reduce your weight, reduce your weight. But that's not all. The studies have found that excess weight can be linked to many other health issues I have explained before. It has been linked to some psychiatric diseases like depression in 55% of the patients. 70% of the people with obstructive sleep apnea are overweight and obese. You must have seen the ENT surgeons advising your patients to please reduce your weight because it is leading to obstructive sleep apnea. Nothing can work, CPAP or any surgery will help unless you reduce your weight. Now here you can see 41% of the uterine cancers may be linked to the obesity, and 10% of all the gallbladder, kidney, liver and colon cancers could be attributed to the excess weight, and 81% higher risk of migraines among the obese patients. So this is enough of a motivation to start a workout. And how is this obesity is killing? Now, I have already explained you about the body mass index. You can take this in your home. Before I told you about the body mass index in kgs. Now you can take in pounds. Then you can add your height in inches into whole square and multiply by 703. Now here you will get your body mass index, and you can. But one need to understand, for bodybuilders, a muscular person will have a higher BMI, but won't be overweight. So for normal people, you can take your body mass index by this method, and your BMI and your health, what are the relation? A higher the BMI, if you are greater than 30 is your BMI, you are obese or overweight. See what are the effects? The heart disease, high blood pressure, high LDL cholesterol, this is your bad cholesterol, low HDL cholesterol, this is your good cholesterol, this will be low. Type 2 diabetes, the breathing problems, the gallbladder diseases, osteoarthritis, sleep apnea, and multiple cancers. So it is the right time to get up and work out. Now, you must be knowing this guy. This is Arnold Schwarzenegger. He's a fitness freak. He's 7-time Mr. Olympia. He's the highest paid Hollywood actor and the former governor of the California. So what all he achieved by his workout? Now, regarding the physical activity in the older adults, because when we are young, we are quite, our immunity is high, everything is going good. So we don't take care of ourselves. We think everything is fine. But as we get older, as we age, and all your joints go, and your mental health, it affects on your mental health, and your heart, liver, kidney, everything decomposes. So what are the effects? See, being physically active is a key factor in the maintaining the health and normal functioning and the physiological system across the life course. We all know that there is nothing new. Physical inactivity is associated with a trajectory towards disease and increased risk of the premature all cause mortality. So about the behavior changes, intentions and habits. A regular physical activity promotes adoption of the positive habits, behaviors, and emotions. Physical activity is also an individual behavior that is influenced by the interpersonal, environmental, and the policy factors. So it has effects on your, basically, your behavior. It has effects on your health, your joints, your cognitive function, your memory, your brain health. You're socially more happy. You're interacting with people more easily. You're more socially active. Now, these are the pics I have taken from the World Health Organization, and see what these people are telling. The people with a disability may have a high risk of developing more severe cases of coronavirus because of the COVID-19. So if you're having coexisting disability like the respiratory disorder, something like bronchiectasis, COPD, so you are having a more chances of contracting. It's more deleterious in COVID-19. Diabetes, heart disease, and immune system, all linked to obesity. So you need to boost your immune system. The very big role of immunity is a defense. It fights with the bacteria, the viruses that come into your body. What happens when the bacteria and the viruses basically attack your body? They produce the free radicals, and these free radicals basically affect your body and has a deleterious effects. So what you can do, eat variety of fruits, eat plenty of vegetables and fruits. Why vegetables and fruits? Why? Because it has antioxidative property, have antioxidants which fight with these free radicals which are produced during this fight with the bacteria and viruses in the body. These free radicals can be produced by any way, like by pollution, by any infection. So these vegetables and fruits are very essential for these antioxidative property. Use moderate amount of fats and oil. Why? Because fat and oils you have to take unsaturated, not saturated. Sugars, lessen the sugar amount and eat less salt. You know that taking more amount of salt lead to water retention and in turn lead to high blood pressure. That's why the physicians says to take less of salt. So you have to take these precautions to boost your immunity. Now, next I will be talking about how to boost your immune system and what are the workouts you can do at home without any instruments or any gym. See, right now all the gyms are closed. If you have a personal gym, that's the best. That is no substitute. But if you don't have gym, there are so variety of workouts that are available and you can do without even a single dumbbell. You can perform a lot of workouts and you can stay fit. And third is obviously the meditation, staying happy, giving, and always having a gratitude. Now, starting with the immune system, what is ORAC? You have to understand this. What is ORAC? See, ORAC is the oxygen radical absorbance capacity. So the ORAC value is an internationally recognized, certified, patented standard system which was introduced by the American Brunswick Laboratory in 1997, and it is constantly developed based on the research. It indicates a degree of the antioxidant capacity of the food. So basically it tells you about the antioxidant capacity of the food. The higher the ORAC value, the more antioxidant property that food has. Now you can see these are all available in a kitchen. The clove, the cinnamon, the turmeric. So you can see their values. You can see their values 159, they're 267. So monthly requirement is of ORAC is about 1 lakh, 10 lakhs. Again, the top highest antibody, these antioxidants rich superfoods are, these are the dragon blood. You can see these Indian gooseberry, the ground clove, the rosemary. So these are very rich in, these are very highest antioxidant rich superfoods. You need to add in your daily food. Now we talk about the concept, the vitamin D protection. We all know that vitamin D is good for your bones, and it helps in your immunity. So a new study conducted by the Northwestern University in the US, it showed that COVID-19 patients with a severe vitamin D deficiency are twice as likely to experience severe complications, including death. So how to get more vitamin? Now it has been completely proved that vitamin D deficiency causes a low immunity and complications, including death. So how to get more vitamin D from your food? You can get from fish like salmon, your eggs, vitamin D fortified products like the cow's milk, yogurt, cereals, and some juices. So vitamin D supplements are another way to help children to get enough vitamin D every day. So you need to add vitamin D in your diet. Now here I have put a slide. You can see here vitamin D is sources of vitamin D. This is a cod liver oil. These are available in any chemist. You can go and ask for them to give you the cod liver oil. You can take 2 capsules. You can sunlight is you can go in sun to take vitamins. You can D. Eggs contains a lot of vitamin D. Raw milk, mushrooms, tuna, and salmon. So you can add in your diet. Now after completing talking about vitamin D, let us talk about the proteins. See, what are the macronutrients? We all know that the macronutrients are your carbohydrates, the proteins, and the fats. So the carbohydrates are basically what? These are the carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. These are made of carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. Whereas we talk about the protein, it is made up of carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, and nitrogen. The main function of the protein is not to provide you energy. The energy is basically provided by the carbohydrates in the form of glucose. But the work of the protein is basically the building block of muscles. It is a building block for muscles and helps in bone. And these are the plant-based protein sources, and these are the animal-based protein sources. So you can see, and you must have read that proteins act as enzymes, coenzymes in various metabolic chemical reactions in our body. So that's why protein are very important to take. And normally Indians avoid taking a lot of protein, and they are basically on very low protein diet. So to build muscles and to get more muscular, or you need muscle strength, you need to have to take protein. And to improve your immunity, yes, to improve your immunity, because your chemical reactions will not take properly if you not take enough kind of protein. There are 100,000 type of chemical reactions going on, and these proteins are helping in them. So we all know egg is a very good source of protein, and we can see here this is a turkey, chicken breast available, the prawn, tuna, salmon, fish, the pork. So whatever is your preferable choice, you can take that. If you're vegetarian, you can take eggs. If you can take non-veg, you can take chicken. If you have a plant-based diet, no problem. There are so many variety of plant-based. You can take a snapshot, you can Google it. There's so many variety of vegetarian protein sources. And there are a lot of big name in the bodybuilding arena that these guys are just on this protein based, because it is a myth that they say that the protein based diet will not provide enough of the protein to build muscles. But this is not right. This is a myth. There are a lot of big bodybuilders name and who are taking this protein diet, and they are doing good. So you can see beans, broccoli. So these are the white, there are various sources, almonds. Now, these are the top protein sources, vegetarian. So you can see these are peanut butter, oatmeal, Greek yogurt. Then comes your nuts. You can carry your nuts in a box. Wherever you go, you can take them. Broccoli, seeds. This is the best, for me, egg has always been the best source of protein. I love eggs. I take around 20 eggs a day. And because the main reason, it is a low in sodium and gluten free. And it is a low carb source of healthy fat and protein. So you can see the carb is only 0.6 grams here, 78 calories, and it give you 6 gram of protein. You can, if you want to take, you can avoid this yellow. You can take 1 or 2 because it has fats. So if you are like more conscious, you can take 2 egg whites. You can take egg whites, more egg whites and less of the yolk. No, now I will talk about
Kumar,
basically. Yes, sir.
Kumar. See,
Yes, sir.
one time I was, when I was at my peak of my fitness, I used to take 60 eggs.
Oh my God, that's good,
60
sir.
egg whites, yeah.
Wow, man. So that's good
Carry
number.
on, carry on.
Yes, sir. So now I am going to talk about the immunity. So you have to understand, this is a very good book. This is the mind-gut connection. How the hidden conversation within our bodies impact our mood, our choices, and overall health. It has been documented that what you eat is related to your brain, because your mood depends on your food. Sometimes you are eating junk and you don't even know that it is affecting your mood. You're getting depressed, you're having mood swings, and you're like not happy because of your food, and you think that food is a very small thing. No. And another thing I want to tell you, that your immune system is mostly in your gut. So it is estimated your gut houses a massive of 70 to 80% of your immune cells. So you can understand how important is your gut. Now, why I have put this slide? To tell you guys that how we take so much extra calories and we don't even know what we are eating. We go to the restaurants and we order pizzas, we take Coca-Cola. I'm not against anything, but I have to tell you the truth. We order pizzas and soft drinks, and we order like, we eat tons and tons of these chips. You can see the calories, how much calories this stuff has, and these are waste calories. You're not getting any good quality protein, carbohydrate, or nutrition from this. These are just junk calories. And how much work you have to do to burn them. See, you have to do 57 minutes of Zumba. This is the high intensity cardio, super cardio. You have to dance like mad to burn this much of calories. And here you can see one can is 140 calories, and you have to walk 23 minutes at the rate of 4 miles per hour. Means you have to walk for half an hour. Now here you can see 2 biscuits, 4 double stuffed Oreos, 280 calories, 1.3 hours of weightlifting. Similarly, you can see 23 minutes of running for these 384 calories of this Miller Lite cans. So guys, you have to understand, this is the reason why most of the people are obese. They are not following, they are actually eating, stuffing all the junk and not understanding the nutrition. What is nutrition? So I have made very simple, because see, if I go on explaining, it will take me 4 hours to explain you everything. Because for calculation of this your meal, there is a funda called the BMR, the basal metabolic rate. What is basal metabolic rate basically? It is your calories that you burn when you are doing nothing at rest within 24 hours. So when you are doing nothing, you are sitting. So whatever the energy is needed to keep that functioning, including breathing, and you're keeping your heart beating. So whatever energy that is burning, that is your metabolic rate in 24 hours. So there is a formula. You can calculate your BMR by simple calculation by you can do Google and you get a calculator and you take out your BMR. There is a formula equation called the Harris-Benedict equation. Either you use as equation, it is a very lengthy equation, better you use your online calculator and take out your BMR. When you take out your BMR, then you have to multiply your BMR. Let me explain like this. Like there is a man whose weight is 80 kilograms and height is 180 centimeters, age is 25. So let's see, I have calculated his BMR to about 1793. And there are activity multipliers. So little or no exercise, you have to multiply that BMR with 1.2. If there's a little exercise, you have to multiply by 1.3. Moderate exercise, you have to multiply by 1.5. And if you're a very heavy exercise, you have to multiply by 1.7. So you will get your calories. For no exercise, I am getting the calories. When I am multiplying 1793 with 1.2, it's 2151. So now you get the calories. Now, if you want to gain lean weight, you have to add 500 calories, then you will gain 1 pound in 1 week. So you have to take time and study this thing. So for better understanding and for easy, you can see this, what I have shown here. 1 palm of protein, dense food with each meal. You can take this for women. And for men, 2 palms of protein, dense food with each meal. Open palms. Here you can see 1 fist of vegetable with each meal for women's, 2 for men. 1 cup handful of carb dense food with the most meals, here 2. And similarly, the entire thumb of the fat dense food with the most meal. This is the simplest way. You can take the snapshot. This is the simplest way without calculating any calories. You can take your meal. You don't want to get into all the complication equations and taking out your calorie count and then subtracting and then multiplying, and don't want to do all that. So these are the healthy habits. You can see 1,000 steps you have to walk, 8 hours of sleep, 7 glasses of water, at least 3 liters of water you should drink daily, 6 minutes of meditation, and 5 servings of fruit, veggies, 4 breaks you should take, 3 meals, 2 hours off your phone before sleeping, and 1 session of exercise is must. Now I will talk about the workouts. So workouts can be in any form. It is not necessary you have to go to gym. If you don't have a gym, you can work out at home. There's so many things. There is yoga. There is cycling. If you have a cycle, you can do cycling. You can do yoga. You can do treadmill. You can do a little bit of stretching workouts at home. If you have dumbbells, you can do a little bit of dumbbell workout. So starting with yoga, they have a lot of studies, and our Prime Minister has also been promoting yoga. So there are a lot of benefits in yoga. That's why it has been accepted all over the world, even in the Western countries. So what are the benefits? It is grounded and better focus, helps in digestion. It increases your lung capacity. It increases the metabolism, increases the libido, oxygen to the brain increases the flexibility after 8 weeks of practice, and less chances of the heart disease. It increases the arm strength by 12% after 16 classes, and decreases lactic acid in the muscles and decreases the joint pain. So to start with your workout, if you are a starter, you can start with yoga. Here again, I am explaining the benefits of yoga. You know the Surya Namaskar, it is famous. Everybody knows about Surya Namaskar. This is how we do the Surya Namaskar. What are the benefits? It improves your sleep. It lowers the blood pressure, glucose level, boosts the immunity, increases the blood flow. Helps in the weight loss, improves flexibility, boosts happiness, builds muscle strength, and strengthens your bones. So these are enough reasons to start yoga for beginners or even for the pros. Now, these are the best poses. You can take the snapshot. These are the best poses to boost your immunity. These are coming from centuries. This is a child pose. This is a balasana. This is a camel pose, the fish pose. This is the bow pose. This is dhanurasana. This is the cobra pose, bhujangasana. This is the bridge pose, the tree pose, and the chair pose. So these are all the different poses, the mountain pose. So these are all the different poses. You can get a lot of videos on YouTube, and you can practice this yoga poses. A lot of CDs are available. And you require nothing. You require no dumbbells. You require nothing. Just yourself. You can do anywhere. You are traveling in a hotel, or you are at some friend's place. You don't have anything. Go with yoga. Start with yoga. Now, let's talk something about the slow twitch and the fast twitch fibers. So one need to understand what are the slow twitch and what are the fast twitch fibers, muscle fibers. See, the slow twitch has more mitochondria. So the oxidative phosphorylation will be taking place. So this is basically are more in people who are endurance athletes, who are marathon runners, or who are cyclists. So these are fibers, because these muscle fibers, these are red in color because of the more mitochondria and oxidative phosphorylation, and these get fatigueless. But if we talk about the fast twitch, these are white in color. They have less mitochondria, and these are basically for strength athletes who are doing strength exercises, because it needs a burst of energy like ATP and creatinine. So now we have understood this thing. Let's come on to the next concept. What is isotonic contraction and what is the isometric contraction? See, the isotonic contraction is like when you hold a dumbbell, concentric contraction in the bicep brachii during the upward phase of the exercise. When you hold the dumbbell and you pull it up, do the flexion, your muscle contracts, and the bicep brachii produces tension and shortens. You can see here, the bicep brachii is shortening. It pulls the forearm upward to cause the flexion of the elbow. You can see the flexion at the elbow joint. Now, what is the eccentric? Eccentric contraction is the bicep brachii during the downward phase of the exercise. So the bicep brachii produces tension and lengthens the muscle. So this is the isotonic contraction. What is isometric? So isometric, you are holding the weight still. You are not moving it. So the muscle, it has no movement. It is at a constant state of resistance. So the bicep brachii develop a tension and stays at the same length. The length is not changing, and you're not moving the hand. There's no flexion at the elbow joint. So why am I explaining this? Because I have to explain you can do the isometric contraction exercises at home without even dumbbell. What are the benefits of the isometric exercises? See, the isometric exercise can be done anywhere. You can do it in the hotel room, airplane, while waiting in the subway or at the gym. Isometric exercises can be done anytime, first thing in the morning, in the middle of the afternoon, or even to fight insomnia. Isometric exercises require little of any financial investment. You don't have to join the gym or purchase expensive equipments. So this is the best thing. Isometric exercises can help you to heal from injury and retain the muscle tone if you have painful joints. Isometric exercises can give you a boost of energy and relieve tense muscles even while you sit at your desk. And isometric exercises may help lower your blood pressure, with one study showing it is at least as effective, if not better, than aerobic exercises in reducing your blood pressure. So isometric exercises can be elevate your mood by the releasing of the endorphins. We know that endorphins is the happy hormone. When we work out, we say often you have seen athletes saying that my brain, like I'm very happy after workouts. Why? Because of this endorphin release in the body. Now these are some isometric moves. See, what you have to do, you have to lie down, hold for 1 minute, push-up position, and you have to hold it for 1 minute. Again, you have to lie down and hold it for 1 minute, because in this you can see we are not moving. We are at a constant. We are still. So the tension is on the muscle. There is no movement. Similarly, for this exercise, this is called the hip thrust hold. You have to hold it for 1 minute, then go down. So you can do this for like exercises in order, resting for 50 seconds after each move. And then one cycle, repeat a total of the 3 cycles without resting in between each one. So you can do like first you can do the push-up hold, then the hip thrust hold, then the squat hold, and the split squat hold. And in between you can rest for, after that you can rest for 15 seconds. Then again you can do the 3 sets of 4 each. Here you can see we all know how to do the squat. You have to start with your legs straight, not bent. Hands should be straight and you have to bend down and you have to stay there for 1 minute. Similarly, this is the split squat hold. You have to hold for 30 seconds like we do the lunges, and then we have to stand. Now there are varieties of exercises. You can Google, you can go on YouTube. There are plenty of them, like the plank. You can hold, these are for abdominal muscles, the plank. Well, I must tell you the record, the Guinness World Record for plank is 8 hours. So if you can do at least 4 minutes, it's more than good. But the world record is Guinness World Record is 8 hours, more than 8 hours. So the plank you can hold for 1 minute. Wall sit, you record just a wall and you can lie down like this for 1 minute. This is the squat hold, the side plank, the tree pose, the warrior 2, the Superman pose. You have to raise your legs and arms while lying down, the hip lift, the static lunges. All you have to wait for 1 minute, then only it's isometric. If you're constantly moving, then it's not isometric. The medicine ball squeeze, you have to squeeze it for 1 minute. You will feel a tension in your muscles. The push the wall, you have to push the wall and keep pushing it. It will not move, but you have to keep pushing it because to generate a tension on your muscles. Now moving forward, let's use gravity for workout. And that is for free. You can do round 1, you can do 10 push-up, narrow push-ups. Then you can use a wide grip push-up. You can do in the round 2, you can do 10 decline push-ups. See, now you can, by these exercises, by gravity, you can focus on all the parts of your chest muscle. One need to understand, we have to develop your chest completely, you have to focus on the upper, middle and the lower part of your chest. To focus on the upper part, you have to do the decline push-ups, activate more of the upper chest. Although the whole chest will work, but this will activate more of the upper chest. Here you can see you are using a table, or you can use your bed, you can use sofa, and you place your legs and you lie down and do the push-ups. Then this will activate your upper fibers. Well, if you are doing a normal lying down on the floor, it will activate your whole chest. While if you are hands are on the sofa or bed and you are doing the push-ups, this is called the inclined push-ups. This will activate more of your lower chest. So your chest workout is complete at home without any equipment. And if you can do at least 30 or 50, that would be enough for starting. But I know Janki Ram sir told me that he has crossed 100, and I know sir can do. No, this is a.
I just did 105. That's max I did.
That's too much.
But I think what is the world record for?
Hello. Hello.
I don't know. Yeah, I have to Google it. Okay.
Okay, sir. Now comes your super HIIT. This is a high intensity interval training.
Carry on, Gaurav. Carry on, please.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Sure. Now we come up with the super HIIT. It is a high intensity interval training. So what is this? It is basically you do a workout for a short duration, very high intensity workout. Then you have to take a break for a short duration. Again, you have to work out for a high intensity workout, then stop and take a rest for a short duration. So short duration of high intensity training and short duration of rest. So this is high intensity training. This has been proven that HIIT, high intensity interval training, is very beneficial in reducing your fat and very less amount. If you have a less time, you think I have a shortage of time, as we doctors have, we are very busy in our daily life, we have surgeries and we have a lot of commitments. So we can try this HIIT. So here we can see level 1, level 2 and level 3. You can start with level 1. You can do the 3 sets. You can do 20 seconds of high knees. You can do 20 seconds of climbers, 20 seconds of high knees, 20 seconds of plank crunches, the plank hold, 20 seconds of plank crunches. So accordingly, there are so many workouts you can Google and you can see on YouTube. So you can accordingly plan your workout and take this high intensity interval training into your regime and see the results. These are mind blowing. You will lose fat like anything. Now comes the cardio and coordination. Well, what is the cardio? You know, cardiovascular exercises, anything which increases your heart rate, you are uh, doing high intensity training, it is the same form of cardio. So again, you can do the butt kicks, you can do the single leg hops, the butt kicks, you can do jumping jacks, the side to side jump, the jumping jacks, the side leg raises, the knee to elbow, the side leg raises. So there are a variety of workouts you can do. You can do burpees. So no, if you don't want to, you want to do a complete body workout. So these are your daily workouts. You can have every part can be targeted per day, but you have to take a rest for a 1 day. Then you can do again the complete body part. See, there is no fixed rule. You have to work out. If you don't have time, you can work out maybe 3 times a week. You can work out daily. You can work out 2 times a week. There's no, but you have to work out. So these are daily workout targeting. See, these are squats targeting your legs, thighs. These are the push-ups targeting your chest. The cross crunches targeting your abs. These are the chair dips. These are targeting your triceps. Leg raises, your lower abs. So these are various exercises you can incorporate and make your own schedule. You don't need any trainers. You can make your own schedule. Though you can do a trainer, but if you don't want to do, then also you can make your own schedule accordingly. Now here you can see total abs. You want to work out your total abs. So you have to target different part. These are rectus abdominis and the oblique muscles. You have to target different part of your abs. Now here you can see I am targeting the knee crunches. The knee crunches basically targets your upper abs. The cross crunches, again the upper and the sides. The leg raises, the targets is your lower abs. So if you have tummy, you want to get a flat stomach, do the leg raises. The cycling crunches, it targets whole of your abs. Then the flutter kicks, the heel touch, the Superman, it targets your lower back. If you have lower back problem, you can try with starting with the small sets. Then your 60-second plank, it basically strengthens your plank. So you can follow this regime for your total abs. Now for your arms at home, you don't need any dumbbells to strengthen your arms. Look at the boxers. What they do like 10 push-ups, then 20 punches. You can do air punches. This will basically lubricate your, this will provide strength to the tendons of your joints, of your arm joints. You can do 20 punches in the air. You can do overhead punches. They will increase your tensile strength, increase your tendons, your flexibility of your joints. Then comes your shoulder traps. You can touch your shoulder, raising one shoulder. You can do the triceps push-up, and you can do 2 minutes of rotating punches in the air. You can have seen many boxers using the small bag of for punching, and so you can use these arm of steel workout regimes. Well, there are different levels like level 1, level 2, level 3. Accordingly, you take a rest for 2 minutes and carry on. Now for the lower back, most of the, well, as your age increases and you have to stand in the operation theater for a long time and your back started hurting, you sit in between. So back is very important for performing a long hour of surgeries, and your back has to be really strong. There's also saying that you must have a strong back. So for the back, these are the workouts. The bottom to heel stretch. You can do these stretching workouts, bottom to heel. Now you can do this opposite arm leg raises. Then you can do this back extensions, the 10 bridges, the knee roll. You have to lie down and you have to rotate your knees on the either side, and these are called the knee rolls. These all workouts you will get on Google and YouTube. You can, and even in my channel, I will be providing all this information, how to work out and bridges. Now let's talk about the splits. A 3 days per week split, a 4 days per week split, a 5 days per week split, or 6 days per week. So it depends on what is your target. If you're having less time, you're not getting much of your time, you can only work out for 3 days. You can do a full body, then rest, then full body, rest, then full body. You don't have to be like, this is for beginners. And as you could develop passion for workout, like Janki Ram sir, he has not, I don't think he has skipped a single day of workout, either being so busy in his schedule every day. I know he's like a superman. He's working and so many surgeries, still I have seen him not skipping a single day of workout. So that type of dedication, it takes years of hard work, and to maintain that mentality and that strength in your mind, because your muscles will not develop until your mind is strong. You're not able to get disciplined, because discipline is everything. If you don't have discipline and you don't have the first step is to start the workout, but to keep on going every day, you have to work out. It is a marathon. It is not like you have to work out for one day, then you can. So this is a 4-day split per week. You can divide into upper and lower. So you can do for an upper part, then lower part, then take rest, then do upper part, lower part, then 2 days rest. So accordingly, you can plan your workout. So what are, now I will talk some basics about the muscle building steps. What these bodybuilders use basically. They use the supersets. Hello.
Can you see me? Gaurav.
Sir, I used to sit in the OPD. I have seen you, like you always.
Yeah. Can you listen to me? Can you hear me?
Sir, I can't hear you clearly, sir. The voice is a little bit.
You can't hear me?
Yes, sir. I'm hearing you. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
No, you can hear me or not?
Yes, sir. I'm hearing you. Yes, sir. It's a little bit. I can hear you now, sir. Please, sir.
Hello?
Yes, sir. I can hear you, sir.
Okay. See, you talk so far. I don't want to make it as a.
Sir, I can't hear you. Sir, your voice is not clear.
Hello? I don't want to make it as a clear lecture. Let us take some questions also.
Yes, sir.
So that there's a lot of. Let us take it as a questions. Let us take some questions also. Hello? Hello?
Yes, yes, sir.
Can you hear me? Can
Yes,
you
sir,
hear me
yes.
now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I can hear you
Hello?
now. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Hey, Gaurav.
Yes, sir. I can hear you,
Can
sir.
you hear me?
Yes, sir. I can hear you, sir. I can hear you, sir.
Okay, I thought we'll take some questions. We can take some questions from the audience also.
Okay, sir.
Okay, you carry on. Carry on.
Okay, sir. So, no.
Carry on. I thought we'll take some questions from the audience.
Hello. Hello.
Gaurav, you can go ahead. I just spoke to sir. You can go ahead.
Okay, okay. Yeah, now let's talk about basic concepts of.
From the audience about, can you speak of basic minimum level of workout?
Okay.
You can go ahead and you can come back with the basic minimum.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. Now let me talk about the muscle building sets. These are the basically sets used by the bodybuilders when you are becoming a pro. You have started your workout and you are getting better. So what are the supersets, the drop sets, and the pause sets? See, the supersets are basically 2 exercises performed back to back without any rest. These are basically used by the bodybuilders to break the because if you are following a same regime, the muscle stop growing. So we use these sets to basically shock the muscles. So we use the supersets, the drop sets. What are drop sets? basically immediately lowering the weights after fatiguing the, then continuing the set. So this increases the pump. Then the
Gaurav,
post set. Yes, sir.
Gaurav, I am Dr. Agilasamy.
Yes, sir.
Can I
Good evening,
interrupt for a second?
Good evening, sir.
Can I speak for a second?
Yes, sir. Sure, sir.
I watched your lecture. It's very good, very nice.
Thank you,
But
sir.
most of the ENT doctors, like me or many, even the questions are already there. We are all not gym people like you.
Okay, sir.
So for sedentary people like me or others, can you elaborate some basic household exercises that will be
Yes,
helpful?
sir.
We can't go for running and everything. Just for some walking at home in the bed itself, something that will be very useful for most of the ENT doctors.
Okay, sir.
Thank you.
Sir, yes, sir. Sure, sir. Thank you for the question, sir. Sir, on bed, you can do your leg raises. You can just take your pillow and you put your hands behind the pillow like this. And you do the leg raises as I shown you before. You can do 15 repetitions for like 3 sets. This you can do on bed. And if you a little bit, you can do brisk walking. If you have a apartment, you can do a brisk walking. If you have a treadmill, you can do walking. This is also you can do at home. Then squats, sir. Squats. Just you have to do squats. You have to. I have already explained how to do the squats. Moving with my presentation, I have the videos of squats I will be showing afterwards. And these are some basic workouts. Push-ups you can do. Brisk walking you can do. Leg raises you can do. So these are the basic workouts that you can. Yoga you can perform for your stretching, for your flexibility. You can do the yoga. You can do the stretching workouts, or you can put some music and do a little bit of dance. That also will burn fat and make you flexible. It is not like if you like dancing a little bit. It is doesn't matter. No one is seeing you. You can dance as whatever you want to dance like, and all this will lead to fat loss and flexibility of your body.
Gaurav,
Yes,
Dr. Anupama here. Can you hear me?
yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I just wanted to add something. Usually, I normally, for a person who has been sedentary, for a long time, before we advise them to start any exercise routine, we do a basic health workup,
Yes, ma'am.
workup rather. You do their ECG,
Yes, ma'am.
you do their homocysteine, and you assess their cardiovascular risk before you prescribe an exercise prescription. Because sometimes overzealous enthusiasm and trying to push yourself beyond your ability I have seen it result in a lot of disasters. So especially
Yeah,
for
ma'am. Very
those
right.
such as doctors are the worst patients, and for those who have been in a very sedentary lifestyle for a long time, before they do start a workout, I think you should have a proper cardiovascular evaluation
Exactly,
and
ma'am.
very very tailor-made exercise prescription. So you are explaining all of these exercises. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful lecture, very well prepared.
Thank you, ma'am.
But I feel that the take-home message should be each one should start at their comfort level and then push themselves slowly. And even before that, they need to have a Paka cardiovascular evaluation before they do that.
Yes, ma'am.
And
You're very
that
right.
was one thing. And I just want to add one more thing, just one point, and then I don't have the time. I'll have to go off. See, Indians in general are sarcopenic.
Yes, ma'am.
So we tend to have less muscle and more fat. We are the
Yes,
thin
ma'am.
fat. Other
Yes.
than me, who's like the really real fat. Then usually they are like the thin fat. So weight training is a must for the Indian population, and I feel women also need to do a lot of weight training
Exactly.
because that is something that is still taboo, and it's not looked at as something of value because they think it will masculinize them in some way. Again, that myth has to be busted. Women have to do weight training, own body weight training, just push-ups, planks, squats, you know, that circuit, they just do it like 3 or 4 times.
Yeah,
That will
ma'am.
do a lot of good. That was one thing. And I just wanted to add one point, um, that exercise is the least used antidepressant. I think we should use that more, which I'm finding in my days to come. It's just keeping me sane. And last but not the least, with respect to the protein consumption, I feel we should have a balance. You know, you shouldn't overdo it because it's good for you. Because we do see people who come up with hyperuricemia, kidney stones, just because they've just basically overdosed on their
Overdosing
eggs
protein.
and protein. So that again, you know, again, baby steps, each his own, and they have to do that. And finally, what have you watched this documentary called Game Changers on Netflix?
Game changers, no, ma'am.
Yeah, you bet. And I mean, it's a very, very interesting take on how vegans are changing the world of sports.
Ma'am, I have seen a lot of documentaries on vegan and how they are like everyone is turning, they're changing their diet from non-veg to veg, and they are simply taking the vegetarian diet, and they are looking younger at 50, 60. They are like,
Exactly. So
yeah, ma'am.
I love my ghee and my butter, so I'm not able to go off and be a total vegan. But I think that's something that we could sort of, you know,
And ma'am,
think
vegan
about.
has been, ma'am, associated with a long, it has basically your long lifespan. It has increased your lifespan, vegan diet.
Yeah, and of course, it's got its own anti-aging
Yeah,
thing
ma'am,
too. So
properties,
Indians are
antioxidant
obsessed with
changes.
that. So I think that's about it. Very nice lecture, Gaurav. I
Thanks a
hope
lot,
I
ma'am.
have shared some insights. Really, really good.
Thanks a
I
lot.
hope you continue to do this more. Thanks a
Thank
lot.
you.
Thanks a lot
Thanks.
for allowing me to speak. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Carry on.
Anupama,
Yeah.
can you hear me, Anupama?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you, Janki. Tell me.
Okay, the lecture is not yet over. We will
No, I have to start traveling back.
yeah, we will not. I mean, we're not. Yeah, stay back for the question hour.
Okay, I'll listen to it as we drive back.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Gaurav, you carry on.
Yes, sir. Sure, sir. Thank you, sir. So moving forward with my lecture, now there are various forms you can do workout at home. Now these are the Zumba classes. These are also the high intensity cardio work, super cardio workouts. So you can just log in, check YouTube. There are so many Zumba classes going on the internet and on YouTube, and you can just follow them. And for half an hour, if you are burning approximately 300 to 400 calories in no time, because it is super cardio. You are burning more calories in less time. What else you can do? You can do cycling. If you can go out and you want to take fresh air with mask. Now these are some workouts I am showing. These are the chest workout. Simple chest workout. I am doing push-ups. Now these are these are tricep push-ups. You can see it is focusing on the triceps. So these are, I'm not using any weight. I'm just using the gravity and doing at home. Now these are the abs workout. These are the leg raises. You can see nothing, just you need nothing, and these are shoulder workout. Just if you have water bottle, you can use the water bottle. What do you have to do? These are the lateral raises. These basically focus on your lateral head of the deltoid muscles. These are the front raises. These basically focus on the front deltoid. So you're targeting each part. You can use water bottle. You can use any stuff you at home. You don't need dumbbells for that. For starting, you can do 30 repetitions. You will feel the burning sensation, pain. Now these are for rear delts. I am focusing the rear delts. Now for legs, you can do simple squats, nothing. These are called the sumo squats. You can do simple squats. No weights required. Now the bicep workout. These are the bicep curl. There are different variations. You can use now this is the next variation will be coming soon. These are the hammers. These are the variations of the biceps workout. You can incorporate this in your workout. Thank you.
Thank you, Gaurav, for the excellent lecture on
Thank
fitness.
you, Harsha, for
I would ask Jankiram sir to speak.
yes.
Harsha, Gaurav,
Yes, sir.
first of all, can you hear me? Because my net maybe connection is not very good.
Yes, sir. I can
First
hear
of all, yeah, I thank you for your wonderful lecture. Actually, I heard it completely. And this is a very important lecture because fitness is very, very essential for doctors, especially during the COVID time. And you showed it, I mean, it was very lucid because you used the bottles
Yes,
and
sir.
whatever homemade,
Yes, sir.
whatever. So I think the most important point which I think from my side I want to convey is that to be fit, I think you just have to need the mind to be fit.
Yes.
I think most of us don't exercise. We can do anything for that matter, climb the stairs, 100 times or 1,000 times. So you just need that mind. The problem is the mental block. Why should I do? I'm lazy. This is what I personally feel. Many of the doctors, they sit in the clinic, but they fail to think that 1 hour or 1.5 hours should be spent for our body. So I think the most important starting point to do an exercise is first the mind. So let us tune our mind to start doing exercise from today. So this is very important. The second important thing is many people think we have to go to the gym, or there should be, I'm sitting in my badminton court. You see, this is my badminton court. So I have a badminton court at home. You don't need anything at all to start doing gym. You just don't need anything. You just can start with a suitcase, or you can start with some tumbler or some stone, even a stone. So basically, I do not agree if somebody says the gym is closed. I hear that from many doctors. I just ask them, do you go for this one? Do exercise? He says, no, my gym is closed. I always think you don't have to have a gym to do an exercise. You can do it anywhere. You can do it anywhere. It's just, again, the mind, which is very important. Number three, very important thing is that, see, you don't always need to do the concentration exercises. You can actually do like, cardios. You can jump, you can skip. You just need a skipping rope. You can skip, you can jump, you can do cardios, because cardios, I think, are very important to keep yourself fit. I play badminton to keep fit, but I think I don't need, again, a badminton court. You just need to have some good cardio exercise every day. Having said that, I would like to invite our panelists to ask questions to Gaurav. Gaurav is a fitness freak, and you can ask any question you want. He's one of the leading orthopedicians in the country. And Dr. Vijay, are you there? Dr. Vijay?
Yeah, Jai, I'm there, yeah.
Yeah, please, can you because you basically, I think, have operated for the world footballer, right? What is his name? Yeah, I mean, like, what is
Yeah,
the
yeah,
name of the...
I've done many professional athletes and all that. Yeah, tell me, Janaki, what can I say?
No, I just want to, I want your inputs on, how doctors should maintain their fitness during this period, COVID period. This is very important for the doctors. Can you please add on some points?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I think this period, I think one, of course, we need to be very fit that boosts your immunity, then keeps your mental status. And as somebody was saying, as really a stress reliever and all that, that's very important. But apart from that, we have nothing else to do, So they've always been telling we don't have time and for that. And then now we have all the time in the world and we must use it really productively to become, very good at fitness and continue it even after the COVID goes away. I think that's very important. So Dr. Gaurav, very nice talk.
Thank you, sir.
Well done.
Thanks, sir.
Yeah, but I think everybody must understand the principles behind the exercises. Yeah, not you can do this exercise, that exercise, that's fine. But what you really need to understand is what is your, there are different, goals in exercise, So you want to have flexibility, you want to develop your cardio, you want to develop your strength, you want to develop your endurance. So the common mistake people do is neglect one portion, So some people, when we ask our patients, what do you do? They'll be very obese. What exercise you do? They'll say yoga. Yoga is not great for weight reduction, for example, you see. So that's the reason. So they must understand the science behind all the exercises. And once you understand that, as Janaki said, it's very simple. It's all in the mind. And then it's all very simple. You can do at home. As long as you understand the science behind the exercise, I think it's very easy to do. Yeah. Thanks, Janaki.
Vijay, I just want to ask you, like, suppose a person does not do weight training and not tension exercises, but only the cardio, is it okay? Or what is your take on just doing cardio alone?
It's not okay at all. Absolutely, that's a wrong thing of doing it. That's where I would say not even it is not beneficial. It's probably be detrimental, yeah, because you are only you're only exercising the red muscle fibers. You're not doing the fast twitch wide. And the professional marathon runners, for example, are all examples of poor physical fitness. Their fitness is very, very poor, although they may win international marathons. So it's a very wrong concept to have. And that's the reason I say you must understand the science behind the exercises. And if, common mistakes like that, we just do cardio, it's just not enough. Another common mistake that I find is that, people say they go for a walk, or the housewives tell us, when we say they have knee problems and all that, they say, sir, from morning till evening, I'm doing household work. Well, there's no argument, they're doing household work, but that is not cardio. That is not cardio, because the whole idea, if you understand, you must push your heart rate to at least 60% of your max heart rate. Then only it becomes cardio. And, and then if it, so that is not cardio. So people, we find people going for a walk, talking on their cell phone. Let me tell you, it's a complete waste of time. You don't even bother doing it. I mean, not that way. It's good in that it's better than sitting, but doesn't give you any material benefit. You're probably, the time that you're using for that is probably not well utilized. And certainly it's better than sitting at home, but you can use that time much more efficiently. Yeah. So you must learn to, understand the science behind the exercise, and then it's all, everything will fall into place. Yeah, that's the important point. Yeah.
Vijay, I just want one more. I'm sorry I'm asking too many questions, but you are the right person to answer this. There are so many fallacies about walking on a treadmill versus walking on the road. They say that the treadmill causes the joint problem, so don't walk on a treadmill. What is your comment on that?
Yes, so we see a lot of patients who have problems with the treadmill. Now, patients who do not have any problem with the treadmill, most welcome to use the treadmill. But if somebody has got a hip problem or a knee problem or a lower limb problem, and if they got an artificial joint in that, we tend to discourage treadmills for the simple reason that you have repetitive injury because you're walking the same pattern every single step. You are having a repetitive injury, and that's not good. Whereas the same distance you're walking outside, you are not having the repetitive injury. Yeah. So For people who tolerate the treadmill, great. But people who can run into problems. So people who develop pain after walking, typically anti-knee pain, bad news. They can develop hamstring spasm, anti-knee pain. So you must avoid the treadmill.
And I'm just going to bombard you with some questions if you don't mind, because you are the right person.
Sure.
Some people, when they walk, during the walking, they raise the hand very high and then walk. There are some people who just keep their hand, normal and walk. Is there any particular, way to walk? I mean, when we walk, is there any particular way, like raise your hands or something like that?
Now, the hands is a very important part, or not the hands, the upper limbs are a very important part of walking and running. It sets the rhythm for you. Yeah, so that's the very important that you have to utilize. This raising the hand and walking is described for very older people. Yeah. So as you grow older and older, you find that you don't have to push your heart rate that much, because it depends on your age. So for them, just to increase their the calorie spent and their effort, it's a good thing to raise their hands and walk. That may be a good thing for somebody who's in their 60 plus 65. But for others, for example, somebody like Gaurav, walking would be, will not be pushing up the heart rate at all. So you need to be going into the jogging zone, at least the jogging zone. Otherwise, you are not exercising. You're not doing cardio. You're not doing anything. So you must understand the science behind it. Yeah.
And one more question, Dr. Vijay. Hello.
Yes, Janaki. Yeah.
If I'm permitted to ask you, my father is around 82, and he is still doing a little of weight training. So I just want to ask you a very broad question. Till what age you can do weight training? If so, is there any restriction of doing weight training? And suppose we do it with heavy weights. Sometimes I also push myself to do heavy weights at the age of 52. So is it recommended, and is it dangerous sometimes to do that? What is your take on that?
Absolutely, yeah. So weights must be done by everyone without exception, yeah. That is the fundamental. Forgot her name. The lady doctor did mention that, yeah. Women, especially in India, nowhere else in the world is taboo to do weights except in India for women. So we all have sarcopenia. So we tend to lose muscle over, and the only way to reverse it or to slow down it is by doing weights. So people know, like for our orthopedic surgeons, people come and ask how to build bones. Should I take calcium or vitamin D? That's got nothing to do with your bones. You need to do resistant training for the muscles to build up your bone strength. And then only you'll find you won't get osteoporotic fractures. You'll have stability. You won't fall down. You won't get your kyphosis of your dorsal spine. All that comes from strengthening of the muscles. So now we believe that the bone and the muscle is one unit. So when you strengthen the muscle, you'll find that the bone also gets strengthened. And that's what that we now know. So that's the reason why we need to, so we need to strengthen both. So that's how we prevent osteoporosis, as well as we prevent the sarcopenia of old age. So no exception to using, it's a question of how much weight you use. So I'm sure Gaurav would I join later on, but we have the, how to tailor weights for everybody. And once you do that, if your father is 84 years old, he must use weights. But of course, not using, 10 kilos. Weights comes down.
Too much.
So we talk about the, the rep zones. Yeah. So you need to know what weight to use, but you must use weight. And that is the sure protection for him at 84, prevent osteoporosis, prevent falls, prevent neck of femur fractures. So please encourage him to do that.
Another question, Dr. Vijay. People say that after a particular age, you don't do, rising the arm and doing weights up for the problem of the disc or the cervical spine or spinal cord. So what is the, suppose you have a small slip disc. Everybody who takes an MRI has got a little disc problem. That's what the report says. So what do you advise such people? Some people say you don't play badminton at all, or you don't, raise weight above your head. What is your advice to such people who have, just a general question, what is your answer to that?
No, that's all completely wrong information people give. For example, with knee arthritis, people say don't walk. But the one thing you must do with knee arthritis is walk. A lot of misconceptions in India. So you'll find
okay.
some MRI changes in any patient, anybody, you and me, will have MRI changes in the neck and the lumbar spine. That's just natural how it goes. And the only way of preventing further is to strengthen the muscle around it. So you must strengthen it. But any exercise that you do weights, you must have good form. If you lose your form, then it's bad news. Obviously, you know, you'll have eccentric firing of the muscle. That's bad news. But as long as your form is good, your strength is good, exercises, whatever exercise you do is very good. So you must do resisted exercises to recruit those muscle fibers. So important for everyone. You know, again, I come to understanding the form of the exercise. Once you know the form of the exercise, it's great for you.
And one more question, Dr. Vijay. I'm really sorry I'm utilizing your time, but you know, it will be beneficial for a lot of doctors because you know, many of us are under this misconcept and things like that. So we when we do some exercises, we get some pain. Okay, the pain after especially old age. My mother says she's got pain. Don't think I'm asking for consultation for my parents or something like that. Just in general questions for a lot of people who are growing old. So if there is pain after doing exercise, should we stop or we continue doing exercise? What is the answer you give?
There's a lot of reasons why you can develop pain after exercises. So the key thing would be, you know, for you know, call it, I think Gaurav mentioned that, yeah. So you have the muscle burn, as we call it, yeah. So that's good. We are putting the muscle, we are recruiting the muscle fibers, the white muscle fibers, fast twitch muscle fiber. That's very good. That's one side of it. Then for somebody who has not had any exercise for a long time, and when they recruit that muscle, you will have some pain. So that pain, once you exercise through it, that pain will go off. And the other pain we have is the delayed muscle soreness, DMS. So when you do, especially an unaccustomed activity, for example, if you do sit-ups, you're not used to doing, you do 20 sit-ups today, you will have, tomorrow morning, you will have pain. That is DMS, or delayed muscle soreness. So various things to do that, yeah. Now, most likely, elderly women will do some unaccustomed activity like lifting a bucket of water or something like that. That's very bad because the muscles are not conditioned for that. So they do muscle injury. So they need to have a prolonged period of rest before starting off on lower stress for whatever activity they're doing, and then building the range as they go along. So suddenly one day you lift your furniture at home, that's not good for you. You will you don't have good form, you'll injure yourself. So you must know what you're doing and slowly build it up. That's the way you do it.
So I have a question to Dr. Gaurav.
Yes, sir.
See, there is a form of exercise where we do antagonist muscle exercise, like biceps and triceps or something like that. Is it good, or you know, there are a particular set of muscles you should not do in a particular day? Well, what is your recommendation? Because there are three, you know, three set exercises and things like that. Do you recommend antagonist muscle exercise on the same day?
So it is not preferable. Basically, what the concept is, very big bodybuilders, what I've heard, they say to do two muscle parts per day. Like if you are doing chest, you can do tricep with it. The most commonly used the workout regime is chest, CT, chest tricep, BB, back bicep. So these are the basically used. Some say that we must train.
My question is this. Dr. Gaurav, my question is this. Wait. My question is this. See, when you do the chest,
Yes, sir.
most of the chest exercise also, you do the triceps also.
Triceps, yes, sir.
Okay. So the problem is when you do chest and triceps, will it not be better to do chest and biceps instead of doing chest and triceps? What is your take?
So if you want to shock the muscle, you can do it. There's no harm in doing it. Like if you are doing for 4 weeks and you are following some regime, you want to shock the muscle, you can change the regime. There's no harm. I have seen people doing biceps and triceps, very big bodybuilders doing biceps and triceps. So there's no, you have to train the muscle. You are producing the lactic acid in the muscle. That muscle is only working, and it will not basically antagonize what we think that we will work biceps and triceps, and it will reduce our gains. The gains are not going to go anywhere, sir. If you are properly using the form and producing the intense burn, the lactic acid, and you are like stretching the fibers to its core, because fibers has to break to build. And if you're not, you are taking dumbbells and hanging it out, and you're not putting enough pressure on the muscle, then only, sir, it will not grow. If you are putting a proper pressure and you are feeling the burn, the lactic acid, and you are feeling that the muscle is absolutely exhausted, then only, and sir, you have to increase the weight. Because if you are not slowly increasing the weight, you are using the same weight, that you have to taper yourself according to your stamina. Because what I can lift, it's different. What other person can lift is different. So
Okay, coming to this point, Dr. Gaurav, I want to, that's a different point. So what is the better way of doing exercise, doing low weight, high reps, or high weight, low reps? What is your recommendation?
So there are rep ranges. If you want to like tone your body, you go high reps. If you want to build muscles, you have to stay around 8 to 16 or 8 to 12 reps. This is the basically, and if you want to increase your power, then you have to go with high weights, low reps. Then you will increase your power. But if you want to build your muscles, then you have to stay between 8 to 12, and then only and you have to taper the weight accordingly, then only your muscle will develop. And if you are taking the same dumbbell and you are doing 100 reps, that will only tone the muscle, but it will not increase its size. To increase the size of the muscle, you have to, sir, increase the load progressively, and you have to keep the rep range between 8 to 16.
Okay, now I just want to ask some technical questions. What is the role of creatine and BCCA, and do you recommend this for gymmers? Like, what is your take on creatine and?
So we all know that these white twitch fibers, which we use in muscle building. We require ATP. We want instant energy. So what creatine provides us instant energy. So preferably I never take, because I want to I stick on to my basic diet, and I want to stay like this only. But
so you don't take a pre-workout drink? You don't take a pre-workout drink?
I only take when I feel like, when I'm feeling low, because I want to stay I want to stay the way I am. Like, I have to push myself with my mind, not with pre-workouts. I only take when I feel low. Like, some days I feel like I'm not energetic, then I take 1.5 scoop, 1 scoop, then I bang the workout, because I don't want to skip my workout. Then only, sir. Otherwise, I make sure, because, sir, one problem is this: when you take enough of the pre-workouts, your receptors get blocked. You must have noticed that when you take a pre-workout for a long duration of time, then you will requiring more dosage of that same pre-workout that you were requiring previously. You were requiring 1 scoop, now you want 2 scoops, because your receptors are blocked.
Okay, another question I want to ask you is that some people, so I take my whey around 2 scoops immediately after the last rep, that is you finish your gym. So can we delay the taking of protein after exercise, or how long can we, or some people also confuse us by saying increase your glucose intake immediately after exercise. So do you recommend, so I can ask this to Bose also, do you recommend taking glucose, or you recommend immediate post-workout protein or glucose? What is your recommendation, Bose?
I would say protein, yeah. So that would be the thing. Protein, yeah. So glucose, as we know, is the main culprit now for many of our metabolic problems. So unless you are burning enough calories, so unless you're within your glycogen storage limit of your body, you can take glucose. Otherwise, that's the worst form of fat. That glucose, when it gets converted to fat, that's the worst form of fat that you can have, that leads to all the metabolic problems. So if you are for example, spending 2-3 hours working out, then glucose is great thing. Sportsmen, professional sportsmen, etc., great. But for doctors like us, or for general people who are who don't have that much time to work out or anything, active practice, carbs are out. Carbs are it must be only in a very, very small, because our diet is so carb rich. That's what really giving us all is metabolic problems. Yeah, so you must really cut your carbs.
So another important question I want to ask is that I'm asking a lot of questions, and we'll ask the audience to ask. I want to finish last question I want to ask. See, in the egg, they say that don't take the yellow, but some say take the yellow, it's good. I mean, what is the recommendation for taking white or versus yellow? Bose, can you answer this question?
Sure, yeah. I can talk an hour on that, yeah. So
That's why I'm asking you.
The lady doctor did mention that very important point that we all now more or less have agreed that carbs is the thing that has led to epidemic of diabetes, heart disease, neurological disorders, and everything. It's all the carbs that's poisoning us, because in South Indian now we are so carb rich diet that we have. But the common mistake people do is when you say cut your carbs, they will replace it with proteins. That's a big mistake to do. As I said, you will run into uric acid problems, renal problems, all those things. So if you're going to cut your carbs, that must be replaced with fat. There are only 3 macronutrients at the end of the day. So if you're going to cut your carbs, you have to replace it with fats. Therefore, egg yolk is very good. All these fat being very bad for you came from the US. And even now the US is all gone now. Our fats were anyway very low. And to cut that fat further was a criminal thing to do. So if at all you must increase your fat intake, we now know. And one important statement that I want to make regarding health is your dietary fat has got nothing to do with your cholesterol, your lipid profile. It's got zero thing to do with your cholesterol. Your cholesterol comes from your liver. The liver is poisoned by your carbs. Okay, so your dietary fat has got nothing whatsoever to do with your lipid profile. Okay.
Fantastic, fantastic point. Excellent point. Fantastic. Now I think we'll ask the audience to ask questions. Harsha, you can ask people to unmute. We have got the World Join Dr. Vijay C. Bose. He's my classmate. He's one of the leading, and you can ask the people. Such webinars are very rare, believe me, and people who do not attend have missed it. That's all. Because health is one part of our life, and if you don't take care of our health, I think it's not a great way to live. This is what I feel. So, Harsha.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I have already given
Janaki.
Yeah.
Ahillaswamy.
Yeah. So Ahillaswamy is also from Chennai, consultant ENT surgeon. So, yeah, Ahila, go on.
Your questions were excellent. Damn good practical questions, down to earth questions were very useful. And Dr. Vijay Bose, excellent explanation on the egg white and
fantastic. Fantastic. Yeah.
It was Gaurav presentation was good. It was like a cake, and your final questions and Vijay Bose answer were like icing on the cake. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. But if you have got some questions, you can ask Haila. You can ask about weight reduction, how much of weight you can reduce per week and things like that. You can definitely put forward some questions.
Thank you, Janaki. Let others speak. Thank you.
Okay. So
I think, Janaki, there are a lot of questions in the chat, I think, yeah.
Yeah.
Hi, sir. Good evening.
Hi, Vidya. Good evening.
Hi, sir. Very nice, wonderful talk by both and wonderful questioning by you, sir. As you know, I am also a vegetarian like you, but I don't even take eggs also. So now, what is the source of protein for me? What is better? What is the best source of protein for me in my case? I would like to reduce my carbs. Obviously, I've tried to do it already. I just need the best source of protein. No mushrooms, no eggs.
So, Kumar or Vijay, anybody wants to take the question?
Yeah. So protein is not a problem at all in our diet. Yeah. So we have all our pulses, your legumes, a lot of vegetables, dal that we take a lot, your peas, your beans. So protein, you can have tofu. So proteins is not a problem at all in our diet. Vegetarians, the problem in the vegetarian diet would be the lack of fats. So you got to be very careful about that. You must have a lot of nuts, ghee, butter at least. As I said, don't make the mistake of replacing carbs with proteins. So roughly 30% is the sort of the rule of thumb. So you find if you calculate your diet, you'll find that your carbs are about 80-90%. So once you cut that, you must replace with fat. That's going to be a problem for vegetarians. It's going to be a very paneer-centric diet for fat. So the vegetarian fat is going to come from paneer. That's okay, but that's a problem there. Yeah.
Yeah, I just want to ask one question in between. What about your take on groundnuts? Groundnuts, a lot of groundnuts. Some people say that it is not good. What is your take on that?
Well, anything natural as a general rule is very good. Okay, so all the things that we have, that we have that's harmful has been man-made. So we made low-fat substitutes for butter, ghee. Anything that we take is low-fat. We say those are the more toxic chemicals. I'm sure you must have heard of AGEs, corn syrup. All those were artificial substances for natural food. So anything that's natural is good. So that's the basic. I mean, now we talk about adulteration is a different topic by itself. But anything natural is good, but don't overdo the carbs. That's the only thing. Other than that, whatever is natural is very good. Way to take care. Somebody was asking about, I think, should we take breakfast? So there's another talk by itself. But basically, when we were earlier on, so to give you a historical perspective, your Neolithic age is only 10,000 years. The last 10,000 years we have been cultivating, domesticating animals. But before that, humans were in the planet for 3 million years. So our body is made for those that type of lifestyle where we had food when we got it. We were fasting when we didn't have food at all. That's for 3 million years. And only 10,000 years we have been having food. And now the last 10 years we have been totally into junk food. We're eating all the time. And that's why, just to give you a statistic, diabetes was 50 years ago, 1 in 4,000 in Chennai. Now it's 1 in 4. 1,000-fold.
Wow, my God.
Wrong with our diet. Something that is seriously wrong with our diet. So, you must fast, give up a fast every day. So typically, easiest way to fast would be early dinner. You skip your breakfast.
They tell
the body learns to utilize its own
our expectations
of getting back health.
and probably deal with the same thing, but in a better way.
Just one thing. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
You said about
So Dr.
carbohydrate.
Bose, we are also about the concept about cheat diet. Cheat diet for me. So we talk about cheat diet every week. What, do you recommend cheat diet or you don't recommend that?
Well, if you can't, if you really have a carb craving, and you want to have an ice cream or a cake, it doesn't matter really. So if you're making a mistake in your diet, that's something that a mistake you're doing on a daily diet. Whatever you do once a fortnight or once a month has got nothing to do with your your metabolism. So if you're doing a mistake, it's a daily diet. So fasting will the only way in which the body learns to use ketones for fuel, and we start metabolizing our own fat in our body. We know that our visceral fat is the most dangerous organ that we have, the visceral fat. And the abdominal fat is a direct mirror image of your visceral fat. The more is your abdominal fat, there is so much of visceral fat inside you. And that is the most dangerous organ, producing all sorts of toxins for your body. And so the only way to get rid of that organ is by fasting. Your body learns to use. Once you learn fasting, then you find that you won't be hungry at all. That we call the miracle of fasting. Yeah. So you will just you'll have energy all the time. The body learns to use its fat.
I just have one question. Did I hear you right when you said carbohydrate to be replaced by fat and not protein?
Correct. Absolutely correct.
Why so?
For South Indians, you're absolutely right. For South Indians, our diet has always been very poor in fat. Now the Americans, by mistake, told us fats is very harmful for us. It blocks our coronary arteries. It does not block your coronary arteries at all. Fat does not. Now two qualifications of fat. It must be natural fat. Okay, so whatever is natural fat is absolutely is great for you. And so I said, your diet must be 30% roughly. So if you look at your diet must be 80% carbs, any of our South Indian diets. Because we have idli or dosa in the morning, carbs. We have
what about paneer for vegetarians?
Curd rice in the afternoon, carb. You have chapati or paratha or whatever in the night, carb. So your diet is 90% carb there. Okay. So we get protein from our diet, dal, pulses, we get protein, but we don't get fat at all because the Americans told us we should not take fat. So we stopped taking.
What about paneer? What about paneer?
Paneer is very, very good. That's how we
Okay.
replace carbs with paneer for vegetarians.
And one more question about edible oil. There is lot of saying about low cholesterol, blah blah blah, and some latest thing they say what soybean oil is better, or what's your concept on that?
Now, again,
About the cooking oil.
I can do a separate talk on that. But basically, what happens is the history is like this. They found out that the two Framingham heart study, you might have heard about that. Yeah. So they said that saturated fat is bad for your coronary vessels. And so what they did was they started replacing good oils that we have, like coconut oil. It's a good oil, natural oil, with unnatural, unsaturated oil like sunflower oil and similar types. And they call it
Rice bran and all.
Now they are the
Rice bran and all that.
They're the most toxic to the heart. Why? Because this, if you squeeze a sunflower, you will not get oil. Okay.
Yeah.
You will have to get only by chemical process. They're all very artificial. So any oil that you buy must be cold pressed oil. It must be natural oil. So your sunflower oil, your seed oils are all not natural oils, but they are supposed to be heart healthy. They're not heart healthy at all. Now, once you start heating them, they produce all sorts of toxic chemicals. Once you start hydrogenating them, so they are the most important factor why our health all went down. Health went down because we replaced natural oils by artificial unsaturated oils. So all the natural oils, olive oil, coconut oil, even if you have groundnut oil, that's fine, but it must be natural cold pressed oil, natural oils. Anything natural is good.
And what about soybean oil? Is it not natural? Soybean oil?
I'm not sure, to be honest. I'm not sure about soy oil whether, but if you get cold pressed oil, it's good. It's a good oil because the natural oil. Anything natural is good.
Now, as Dr. Janki was suggesting just one thing, it is easier to say to lose weight than do it. What do you suggest, both of you, to lose weight, what to do?
There is nothing more easier than
It
losing
is
weight.
easier said than done, I again said.
I have to disagree on that because I have
Eat less
influenced so many
carbo.
people who are doctors and non-doctors to lose a very significant amount of weight. But again, you have to understand the concepts behind all this. Your diet, how you eat, that is by fasting, how you break your fast and all that. You don't need to count your calories. The wrong concept to count your calories. We call it clean eating.
Okay.
As long as you eat clean, you don't need to count your calories. And then you understand the science of exercise. Once you do that, and do you know the exercise that is that will burn fat and calorie? That is what Gaurav was mentioning about HIIT. It burns fat like anything else. So if you have any HIIT program, that will burn your fat. So if you combine all these three things, your fat will just melt away. There's no question about it. I got so many people whom we have influenced and they have lost weight, 30 kilos, not a problem at all.
No, something about food part, you please say. Food part, how to control that.
As I said,
I think that is probably one of the, we doctors have a sedentary habit, so probably only thing we can cut down.
No, there's no shortcut to success. You can't be sedentary and expect to lose weight. So all these three components are important. So sedentary you cannot lose. So you must have some exercise. And then not just some exercise, the science behind exercise, what you're trying to achieve, or trying to burn fat, or trying to put on muscle, the mobility, all that is very important. Now coming
so
to
Gaurav, what exercises you suggest?
Sir, high intensity interval training, sir. Sir, because just working out will not do all the work for you. You have to take a proper diet. You have to make sure that you're eating everything in a proportion. I have shown the slides in which I have shown the palm theory that how you have to eat.
I think Dr. Prakash Muka sir joined late. He joined late. I didn't see him.
Yeah, I joined late, boss. I got stuck up with Anirban, so I could not. Yeah.
So, sir, you have to basically make your diet.
That's why the question,
very clean diet, sir.
So basically,
Okay.
no processed carbs. Anything that comes in a pack,
Okay.
Biscuit or whatever
Yeah.
comes in a pack, strictly no. Complex
Okay.
carbohydrates like brown rice and things is okay for one meal. So that's the
Uh-huh.
common rule of thumb that we have. So one meal you can have. One meal must be non-carb meal. Then you learn to eat other things apart from carbs you're so used to.
Yeah.
So one meal must be
Mhm.
non-carb. One meal, complex carbs. Brown
Yeah.
rice, we have things like that. And now we have, what do you call that? Flour made out of almonds. That's very good.
Yes.
So we want to cut off carbs. And that's the one mistake that we have done. We have just loaded ourselves with carbs. So once you cut carbs, you'll find you're losing weight like very, very easy to lose weight.
Sir, what
Sir,
about rice bran oil
can I
and
add something?
Yeah,
what
sure.
about rice bran oil, sir?
Anu, carry on.
Yeah, see, Dr. Anupama here. I've been trying to do this awareness about, reducing the carb intake, especially the processed carbohydrates, like the ones that give you the instant sugar high. And I'm trying my part every day so that, it'll drive the point home. But there is still a lot of resistance, especially from doctors even, in accepting that. But I feel reducing the carbs is the way ahead if we want to have, proper, there is something called as the gut microbiome and how it affects your mental health. So I'm more interested when it comes to the neurobiological aspects of your diet. And I think we should start focusing on reducing the refined carbs and the refined sugars that we tend to consume. So that's just my uh, view on it. So for those who want, you can always follow me on Facebook. It's Anupama Annam. So, and you can always give in your feedback also. Yeah, you can carry on.
Sure.
Yeah,
Yeah,
just to
that Anupama, yeah,
Anu,
well said,
just to
yeah.
introduce the panelists, I just want to introduce Dr. Anupama Annam is actually a very nice ENT surgeon, and also she joined neurosurgery, did a part of neurosurgery, and then came to ENT surgery, and she is one of the good ENT surgeons in the world. So just to introduce Dr. Vijay C. Bose is my classmate, and he is one of the top orthopedicians in the world, got trained in London and he's in Chennai, and he's operated on several professional athletes around the globe. So he's so famous. So just to tell, Dr. Prakash Munka is from Bokaro Steel, and he's
Yeah.
a ENT surgeon. Dr. Kumar Gaura is from Lucknow. He was Mr. Lucknow, and that is why we made him talk. So I think the discussion can go on and on and on. I think Dr. Bose is conducting One Health program. Can you just share that so that people can, if you don't mind, our people
No,
joining
Janaki,
your
that's for
program,
our
then
batch only,
it would be
Janaki.
great.
That's not a.
Oh, sorry.
I'm most happy to
My
do
bad.
another one for ENT surgeons, but that one is for our batch.
Okay. So I'll be there, Bose. So thank you very much, Dr. Bose, Dr. Gaurav, Dr. Prakash, Dr. Agilasamy, and all of you for being here, Dr. Anupama, and all of you. Thank you so much. It was one of the best webinars I have ever attended. I learned a lot from Dr. Bose, Dr. Gaurav, and it was just mind-blowing. And people who have not attended this webinar, believe me, they have missed something in their life. Thank you very much.
Oh,
Good night.
I will ask Janki for the recording of this to me. I've already asked you because I wanted to see Gaurav.
Harsha is recording it. Harsha is recording it, and Harsha will send.
I got stuck up with the show. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Good night and bye-bye to all of you.
Good night, sir.
Good night. Nice
Good
seeing you
night.
all.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, sir. Good night, sir.